Wan 2.2 is generating some seriously impressive AI videos with human motion that used to be impossible with most other AI video models. On top of that, it is actually a lot cheaper than other models in the game like Google's VEO 3 and Hailuo 02. I will be testing out all three side by side and see if Wan can stand its ground against the competition. Wan 2.2 can achieve complex dynamic human movements that are giving all other AI video models a run for their money. But of course, that doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. So let's go through these together and compare Wan 2.2, VEO 3, and Hailuo on different scenarios like simple text to video or even image to video, and see if Wan 2.2 keeps up or even outshines the other platforms. As I mentioned earlier, Wan 2.2 stands out from all other models because of its realistic human movement capabilities. VEO 3 and Hailuo can sometimes struggle a lot when you're trying to generate action-packed scenes with complex movements, and that is exactly what Wan 2.2 is designed around. Another positive about Wan 2.2 that you should keep in mind is that it's quite a bit cheaper than something like VEO 3 that can cost up to $3 per generation, which is always a plus. But just being more affordable or being good at complex movements isn't all that matters. So let's start putting Wan 2.2 to the test. First, I'll test VEO 3 with this prompt. A gymnast stands at the bow of a large ship, ocean wind in her hair. She performs a round-off back handspring, then a high front flip, landing with precision. She flows into a cartwheel, leaps in a wide split, and finishes in a balanced pose as the ship moves through the sea. VEO did a pretty good job with beautiful scenery, while also getting the clothing right. The gymnast is definitely following my prompt, but as you can see, there are clear inconsistencies in the round-off. Her body is transforming very unnaturally and clearly doesn't look right. Some movements are slower than they should be, with weird pauses. Overall, not terrible, but definitely not great when it comes to human movements. Now let's try Hailuo with the same prompt. Once again, Hailuo did get a very beautiful shot of the gymnast in a ship, but her movements seem to be completely off. Her body movements make absolutely no sense. Finally, Wan 2.2 handles this prompt quite well. First off, the ocean in the back looks beautiful, and there are no inconsistencies. The ocean air is lightly brushing her hair, just as I described in the prompt. One small thing is it didn't add the second part of the prompt, which was the front flip, most likely because it is limited by the 6-second cap. But as you can see, the human movements are nothing like VEO 3 or Hailuo. They're very realistic and didn't have any form of AI artifacts. Now, let's push these models even further with something that should really test their limits. I'm going with this prompt. A street skater rolls steadily through a quiet city alley and pops into a clean tray flip over a stack of neon-lit crates. The board spins and flips naturally under his feet before he lands smoothly and grinds along a rusted rail, finishing with riding away smoothly. Let's see how VEO 3 handles it first, okay? So VEO 3 did a decent job with the setting. The alleyway looks gritty and full of character. The skateboard and outfit look authentic too. But here's where things fall apart. The way the skater rides is completely off, and so is the board rotation. The rail grind looks like an explosion. Now Hailuo's turn with the same prompt. The video is sharp, and the lighting in the alley looks fantastic. The skater's movement is a lot better than VEO, but he completely skipped the tray flip. The grind is not perfect, but it's also not bad. Lastly, Wan 2.2 kind of struggles with this one as well. I'd say the landing and the skater movement looks great, and the alleyway looks very cinematic, but as you can see, it ignored the tray flip prompt. One feature that's starting to become common in AI video tools is automatic sound. Google VEO 3 does an amazing job with this. It adds background sounds that fit what's happening in the video, like footsteps, water splashes, city noise, and even people talking. It all sounds super real. Kling 2.1 also adds sound, but it's not as good. Sometimes the sounds feel off, and the voices can sound weird or don't match what's going on. Wan 2.2 has a sound feature too, but it mostly just adds background music, or when it does add sound effects, they're nowhere near VEO 3 level. Now, I actually want to try and compare image to video on all three tools and see if the results are any different than before, as this is one of the main Wan 2.2 features. First up, I have an image of a martial artist in a rainy alley, and I'm prompting it with, the martial artist springs into motion with a spinning roundhouse kick, landing softly before sliding into a low, sweeping leg move. He finishes with a sharp forward stance, rain cascading from his outstretched arms as he freezes in control. Starting with VEO 3, the visual consistency with the original image is pretty solid. The rainy atmosphere is maintained well, and you can see the water effects on his clothes. The transition into the sweeping leg move doesn't flow very naturally. The final stance looks decent, and the rain cascading effect is a nice touch, though it could be better. Hailuo keeps the character looking consistent with the source image, which is good. The spinning kick isn't really followed by a low sweeping leg like I asked, and the movements look very unnatural. The whole sequence of moves just doesn't really flow that well. I can barely see any raindrops falling, and in the end, water starts coming out of his hands, which is weird. Wan 2.2 delivers a much more fluid sequence here. The kick flows better into the sweeping leg move, and you can actually see the martial artist shifting properly between movements. The final stance has that powerful look I wanted. The rain interaction is way better than Hailuo, and you could even say on the same level as VEO3, which usually excels in things like that. Now, for the second test, I have an image of an ice skater on a frozen lake in the mountains, and I'm using this prompt. The ice skater pushes off into a smooth spin, then glides into a deep spiral position. The motion builds into a high-speed jump, landing softly into a curved path that carves the ice. VEO3 maintains the beautiful mountain scenery from the original image, which is great. The spinning motion is not particularly smooth, but it is acceptable. The jump sequence is where it really struggles, the physics just don't look right, and the gravity is off. Hailuo has completely messed up with this one. The ice skater's movements are totally unnatural, and she even teleports at one point. The ice carving effect isn't completely missing, but it looks unnatural, and there are random lines in the ice that shouldn't be there. The mountain background stays pretty consistent though. Wan 2.2 is probably my favorite with this skating sequence. The movements flow together beautifully. The jump actually looks like proper figure skating, with realistic physics and a smooth landing. The camera movement is also very cinematic. One thing that is missing is the ice being carved by her skates, but other than that, it is very good. Lastly, I have an image of a regular guy playing basketball. For this one, I'm using the prompt. The man casually dribbles the ball a few times, takes a step forward, and smoothly pulls up for a jump shot. The ball arcs gracefully through the air as he lands, watching it with quiet confidence. Dust lightly rises from the court with his movement. This should be a much simpler test compared to the other prompts I tried, but sometimes the simple stuff can be just as revealing. VEO3 does a good job maintaining that golden hour lighting from the original image. The dribbling motion looks pretty natural, and the step forward is there. The ball physics are okay, but there is this slow motion effect throughout the video for some reason. The dust effect I asked for is there, but it's a bit more than I would like. Overall, not bad. Hailuo handles the first moves well enough. The dribbling and the first few steps look convincing. The jump shot and the landing looks very rough, and you can see he is not even looking at the basket. The dust effects are also way too much on this one. Wan 2.2 really nails this one. The dribbling is smooth and realistic. The step forward flows naturally, and the jump shot looks very real. The ball physics actually look right without the gravity feeling off, and it genuinely looks like a basketball shot. His form is solid, and the landing is natural. There's even a subtle dust effect when his feet hit the court. It's not dramatic, but it's there. So basically what I am getting from this is that in some cases, Wan 2.2 is a great alternative for realistic and natural human movement videos for quite a bit less than the other two. It's not perfect and not particularly better than VEO3 and Hailuo, but it definitely could be the right tool for you depending on your needs. Which AI video model is your favorite? Please let me know in the comments.